Hello, everyone. I just wanted to shoot a little introduction for the video today, which is an interview with my client Aisha, who is just like a beam of light. I think you're going to enjoy her so much. And I think she is such an incredible example of how you really have to do the hard, diligent work physically if you want to heal from very significant health struggles, right? You really have to be all in terms of the practices. But you also have to approach it with this positivity and lightness and faith. And I think Aisha, despite the struggles that she has been through, has really maintained this positive attitude of self love and trust in her body and trust that she will find the right path and that things will work out for her. And it just really shows. And so I hope you take that all into consideration when you watch this interview. I also just want to share a little bit about what is going on with whole body healing. So, right now, I'm about to start my first two intensive coaching programs in July, and I'm really excited to get those started because these are going to be an opportunity for people to really dive deep into the transformative work that is possible when you take on the task of rebuilding yourself. And I really believe that in the context of these kinds of programs, I can really help people get to their full potential in a way that is more cohesive and coherent than I've been able to do just doing one-off sessions with people. So I'm really excited to start my first cohort. We have incredible groups of people getting started in their journey. So the next thing that's going to open is I'm had so much interest in my immune resilience program that I am going to be opening up another cohort in August. I already have someone signed up for it, so there are 4 spots left. So if you are interested in it, make sure you are on my mailing list. Go to my website, sign up for my newsletter because I'm going to be announcing it there first when the applications are officially open before I announce it anywhere else. So just make sure you're on my mailing list so you stay in the loop. Otherwise, you can buy my Rebuild Your Histamine course anytime. And you can also book a session with Suzanne, who is still building up her caseload and taking clients to do intakes assessment and one-off coaching with. So that is what is going on right now. There's going to be a lot more stuff I'm going to be announcing in the near future. But for now, enjoy the interview. Okay, everyone. So I am so excited to have Aisha here who agreed to be interviewed. She has such a remarkable and inspiring story. And so I really wanted her to give the chance to share, what she has gone through and all the things she has been able to change and just the realizations that she has really come to through this process. I think it's really valuable. So thank you again so much.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to be here.
Yay. Great. Well, if you don't mind just starting giving people a little bit of background, I always like to ask people what things were like when you were at your worst, and if there's any major events that you feel like really led up to that.
Well, um it's such a drawn out story, and actually it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but um, but like today is actually my 11-year open heart surgery anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, and I forgot all about that, but yeah, so it goes back to one having had menstrual problems as early, like even high school
Yeah.
started there, and then I had my first surgery for fibroids in 2010, and I'd always had sort of like complications around that and my hormones, and finally, I guess, like I had that first surgery, and then I had a just out of the blue open heart surgery for a rare right atrial aneurysm.
Yeah.
Uh, and then after that, went into I had the menstrual stuff came up again, and I finally, I wanted to have a myomectomy to remove the fibroids, and the healing after that was just so messed up,
Yeah.
um, that I ended up having to have yet another surgery, including a hysterectomy and corrective surgery on the, I wouldn't say failed. It was more I healed in a way that I wasn't expecting to heal, and it kind of messed things up. So, following my hysterectomy that year after, there were just so many changes that I wasn't expecting, because after the heart surgery, I found, I was very active. Like, I actually found that I could be like this athlete, and I was doing like all this outdoor activity. I
Yeah.
found climbing, and it just went back downhill when I had to, have all these like surgeries again. Excuse me. So basically, I was just running into issues with, over the past like 3 years since my last surgery, started running into issues with my digestion. None of the things that I was eating or the way that I was eating was working anymore to help me stay energetic, or, keep my weight under control or anything like that. Um, and I think you and I talked about like some of the ways that I was eating before was, I was drinking almond milk, and I had been doing that for years. And my go-to was like plant-based protein.
Yeah.
And, um, of course I wasn't like fully like plant-based,
Yeah.
but it was just like, that was my go-to for, supporting my workouts and supporting my outdoor activities and all that stuff. So it was just, I there were so many things that I was going through, trying to figure out like what's going on with my body. I was truly confused. Like, I felt myself feeling like I was just, um, I want to say like holding stuff in. Like, I could feel that there was some sort of like puffiness going on.
Yeah.
Um, and dehydration had always been a big problem for me. I think I shared that with you too. And it was just so weird. Like, why am I dehydrated all the time?
Right.
And like having this feeling, even like with the digestive issues, having this feeling of, my food is not being digested.
Yeah.
Um, and it just felt like it was either sitting like a lump, or like there was nothing happening with it. And
Yeah.
I just knew there's something happened,
Yeah.
with both of those abdominal surgeries, that must have interfered with the
Yeah.
way that I healed, and the way that whatever is happening right now,
Right.
it's something has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think that this is such a perfect illustration of how so many people get into this trap of chronic illness where they maybe have these, uncomfortable things, but they can kind of write them off, but then they keep getting worse. But then the conventional intervention are these like major surgeries and procedures, which when you're in like severe pain or severe crisis, with your open heart surgery, I mean, life saving, right? I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes these
Yeah.
things are necessary, or
Mm-hmm.
there's not any knowledge about what alternatives could be. So it's like, look, here's how we can give you relief. So of course you do it. But so many times these massive interventions end up causing so many complications of their own. And now you're having, I remember when you came to me, it was just like
Mm-hmm.
this huge list of all these symptoms just all over your body that I think you really intuitively knew they were all related, but you couldn't quite make sense of it. Like, am I remembering that right?
Yes. 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 Intuitively is like that's the key.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
intuitively I could feel that there was something wrong,
Yeah.
and intuitively I knew that it was something that only I could only address with my nutrition,
Yeah.
because I did not want, my main thing last year, the promise that I made to myself was that I do a lot focus on, my mental health, my spiritual health, and nervous system health, so meditation and things like that. I'm really, really focused on that. So if something is disturbing my peace, you know, my main thing is like, let me get rid of that thing, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
protect my peace. That was my focus last year. And so, that was what kind of led me into, something, knowing that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Nutrition is the only thing that could fix it. And I did not want to find, yet again, I needed another surgery.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, this can't be something that leads to another surgery. I have
Yeah.
to find a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And you brought up the way you were eating before, and I think that I know you've been focused on your whole body wellness for a long time, and you were doing the things that you were taught were healthy. Like I know with
Yeah.
your issues with cardiovascular health that had been taught, like, here are the things you do to be heart healthy, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so like you said, you were doing all those things. You're drinking the alternative milks and the plant-based proteins and all the fiber and all the things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Which, yeah, and again, it's like that's what people are told is the right healthy thing to do, and you were doing it like a champ, and things just kept getting worse.
Yes.
And so then
Yes.
I know you came to me, and I gave you a very different idea of how to go about things. And
You
so
did. You did.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, do you want to share a little bit some of the things that we talked about that you ended up implementing that you feel like really helped the most?
So, what we talked about, and like it was such a shock because when I ultimately came to you for was because I had thyroid nodules that my doctor had found. He thought I had a goiter, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, I was like, this is it. Like I have to find some help. Excuse me. So, you know, when we finally had our, because I was like, I'm waiting, like I'm waiting to hear this. Like, I was really excited for our meeting because I was just very much, and because I know anyone who's been dealing with some chronic issue, chronic illness, everything is this sort of what is the answer that I'm going
Yeah.
to get? I'm and so invested in the pathway to finding the
Yeah.
cure, or at least the thing that will help them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So for me, it was like, I know this is it. Like I know this is it. And um, when we talked, like you had asked me like all these, I was not even expecting you to ask all these questions, but when you asked them, I was like, yes, of course. Like, yes, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because and part of the history you were talking about was about like my changes and everything was that my father actually had his own issues with heart health. And so when he had his issues when I was in high school, the whole household changed around his eating habits. So we started eating skim milk, started eating healthier, and I tried to, carry those things on because I thought, I may have these issues too, and this is just being heart healthy. And then it turns out I had a heart issue, but it wasn't the same issue that he was having. It was just a rare defect, but it still had me concerned.
Sure.
Um, and so when I came to you about the thyroid nodules and after, all the surgeries, the abdominal surgeries, we talked about, once we went through the history, it was talking about the amount of oxalates that had built up in my body from eating all the healthy things, or all the things that I thought were healthy for me and my body,
Yeah.
and the changes that I had made, to not so much build support around my father's health, and the household kind of rallied around him, which was great at the time. But I guess I know that I took it like further and further.
Totally,
And
totally. Yeah.
so
Well, and
which
again,
was
it's like
yeah,
all the
yeah,
things that you're told are good. It's all the superfoods, right?
exactly,
But
exactly,
like, yeah, when we
exactly.
started doing your assessment, I mean, it was just this perfect picture, like the digestive issues, the thyroid nodules, the
Yeah.
joint pain you were dealing with, the
Yes. Yes.
dehydration, all the
Yes.
abdominal pain.
Yes.
I mean, it
Yep.
was just like this
Mm-hmm.
perfect picture. And when I started sharing this, like I could just see the light bulbs going off for you of like, oh, I knew these were all connected. I just couldn't quite figure out how.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It was like connect the dots and like finally seeing the big picture. And it was so oh my gosh, it was just like, yes, let's go. Like I just instantly jumped into it. And you recommended supplements, you recommended nutrition. And for me, like it, therapeutic keto as the solution to help. And it's been so like, I don't want to like jump ahead, but it's just been
No,
like,
no, yeah, let's go into it. So yeah, no, I think this is great. Like, let's get to the positives, Yeah. Like, so yeah, we ended
yeah,
up
yeah,
doing like, because if you're doing sometimes people do ketogenic diets in a way where they are still eating a lot of oxalates, right? They're eating the spinach salads and they're eating the almond breads and all this kind of stuff. So I guided you into like a low oxalate version of a ketogenic diet, right? Because also supporting your hormones and all these things with the more fats in your diet and helping your energy with the more fats in your diet. We talked about that. But
yeah,
yeah, you started seeing improvements pretty quickly. Do you want to share
yeah,
what happened? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I like, so I think when I came to you, I was dealing with like really bad brain fog, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And again, like on top of that, I was still doing my athletic stuff, still like pushing. And even last year I trained to summit Mount Rainier. I made an attempt. It was a great attempt, and hopefully get to do it again. But there is, there was just this brain fog that had also built up that was really, really getting in the way of like my daily life. And so one of the first things that I was doing was getting on the supplements you recommended, the megabentofiamine, and that got me like instantly. First of all, like I was out of the brain
And
fog.
just for people who don't know, this is the thiamine. This is the
Yeah,
B1. Yeah, yeah. Go. I just want to make sure people knew what that was.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was just like there was this clearing of the fog. I could finally focus on, like I could focus, period. Like I could actually hold a thought. And then um I ended up like this with the selenium at night. Like I had taken it before and
Mhm.
not seen the the rest that I was getting was just instantly like, oh, like because
Yeah.
I'd been constantly waking up at 2 and 3 in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep. My rest was just crazy, off the chain. Like I just wasn't getting rest. And then the I you know I'm I think the iodine in the morning has also been helpful, but the puffiness in my fingers is like, I think I told you about that in one of our follow-ups. I was like, I can like move my fingers and it's no there's no like puffiness. It's so
Right.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I just see a difference in the swelling that I kind of had sort of building up in parts of my body where I was like, even my wrists, like I could tell
Yeah.
that there was some swelling happening. And I was like, why am I swelling like that? I don't understand. So I've been
The
seeing like,
inflammation dropping so quickly. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And then, there was a little bit of the hard part of losing energy in the beginning with keto. And I was like, my activities. But then I had to like kind of switch focus. And you and I talked about that as well, of, seeing how important, the nervous system is. And like I kind of have to dial back on my activities just to maintain, or at least gain some sort of footing on where I am with my nutrition. And you were like, it's gonna come back, it's gonna come back. I'm
Yeah.
like, but I really want to go trail running again. Like I really
I know, I know. And
I
it's a
really want to
good
go
point
climbing.
because, yeah, I know. I mean, I think a lot of people do see hints that we're on the right track pretty early on, like you said, like, oh my gosh, my fingers aren't puffy anymore, like stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have to give your body a chance to heal, and that takes energy. And I think a lot of people just expect to go, like straight up, and so you were such a trooper, just, trusting and waiting and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm still definitely still on that journey. And it's, it is, I did have some, and I think I told you too the last time, I had some life stuff come up that was ultra stressful. And it, it actually was, I was still like before I think I changed my diet and because also, I'm doing the increased fat, which I'm also learning is good for the brain, right? Brain
Yeah.
health. And there was this sort of reaction that I kind of expected to have to this sort of, I mean, it was really stressful. Like
Yeah.
real, it was really like, how do I say, disruptive. It was really
Yeah.
disruptive. And the support that I had from my own nutrition for my body to maintain a sense of calm in the
Mhm.
midst of that storm, with still life stuff going on every day was just like, it was not just having like a support system to also back that up, but like having that was also like, I'm still treating myself right in this
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
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 And it's so amazing, like obviously having a healthy, or helpful diet for us isn't like something that's going to keep life stressors from occurring, right? Like we
Right.
things
Right.
happen,
Right.
life get hard.
Yeah.
But I do find, yeah, when people are like feeding their brain properly, like
Yeah.
you are so much more resilient to the unavoidable stressors of life. Like it's not that it's
Yeah.
not hard, it's not that you don't grieve, it's not that it's not sad or stressful, but it's like there's more of a sense of like I can get through this,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and I think you really felt that through this
I
process.
did. I
Yeah.
really did. I really did. I would just take a second and breathe. And I knew, I know that I'm supplying my body with what it needs. And that was also like, again, like I keep going back to last year of just, my promise to myself was to put my body first, put my health first, and continue along that path. And yeah, this change in nutrition to treat my digestive issues and my hopefully help with whatever's going on with my thyroid or my thyroid nodules. It's just been I'm just so thankful. Like it's just been the best, it's just been the best thing that I can have to rely on as well.
Yeah.
And I know I still have like another year and a half on this journey because you prescribed 2 years on this, and there have been some ups and downs, and I'm still working, kind of working out the last bit of that stressful time
Yes.
last month.
Yeah.
So it's still I find myself with more energy too. Like
Yeah.
I don't, and this is the thing that I wanted to say, like for anyone with a female body, female organs who might have had to deal with a hysterectomy, there is a sense of like it's so weird. It's like this underlying sense of energy has just been removed,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a sense of like I don't have for me it was like I don't have the same energy that I had, the same like get up and go afterwards. But with this and structuring my sleep,
Mm-hmm.
my sleep habits, my eating habits, my nutrition, and the supplements, I now feel like there's a different energy source that I now have, and
Yeah.
I'm nurturing that energy
Yes.
source too, and just like really curious like what is that new energy that I'm feeling. It's not like off the chains, off the wall kind of things or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's just this new sort of energy that I'm cultivating, and I'm just really excited about it. Like my
Yeah.
endurance of like, oh, I can be outside with friends for like hours,
Yeah.
not like doing big stuff, but at least I can now show up, and
Yes.
I'm not like bogged down by this fog or
Yeah.
bogged down by like not feeling well. I can actually like enjoy life right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, and that's the first key to that energy coming back. And I love how you said that, like, because there are things that happen in our lives that are unavoidable that sometimes we can't just, correct or fix. Like a hysterectomy is a hysterectomy, like it's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Right.
But I mean, I think we forget how incredible the body is at like kind of doing different like workarounds, like it can
Yeah.
really do incredible things. And they're like, okay, well, I don't have this, but like, here's how I'm going to like work around this issue and find another way to do this. Like, even if there's something that is unreversible, like there are still ways to work around it, and so
Yeah.
I love your message of hope of like, don't give up just because something
Yeah.
like that happened. There's still things you can
Yeah.
do.
Don't give up. Don't
Yeah.
give up. Don't give up. Like that's even that's what I say to myself,
Yeah.
every morning is don't give up. Something new is coming. Something is coming along for you. Like, don't give up. Don't give
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something I wanted to mention to you too, if you feel comfortable
Yeah.
talking about it, is
Yeah.
like some of what's just been so delightful about working with you is like how how much you focus on just your mindset and just your attitude day to day. Like I know you've been working, in therapy and doing nervous system regulation and things like that. But yeah, I guess, I think that, you know, I think a lot of people struggle with wanting to feel better before they start feeling better mentally, if that makes sense. Like they want to feel better physically so that they can feel better mentally, but I feel like you really approached it the other way where you were
Yeah.
like, I'm really going to like completely reframe my mindset and my attitude, and then like the body will follow. I don't know. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how you use like mindset and your daily attitude as a part of your healing journey and what that's done for you.
Yeah, it's I think it's a combination of having been through this multiple times, like
Yeah.
different illnesses, different, symptoms, and different surgeries, and I think having been through it multiple times for different reasons, like the first time, and this was me just like trying to figure something out. Like I changed my diet. I tried a diet change back in, I think I was like in my early 20s, and I was having issues with my cycle, and I tried different things. But then also one of the things that I was focusing on in that moment was, um, how do I, focus on my mindset? How do I support this change that I'm making with the mindset that also needs that support, because I need to be able to focus on this particular thing.
Right.
And it wasn't even like it wasn't I think some people, well, I don't want to make assumptions about other people, but I think sometimes as a society we think, okay, we'll just like do this thing and we'll get this outcome.
Right.
And but you have to look at it kind of as, how do I own it for me? How am I mentally part of this process as well? And it's it's really have again having just been through the process over and over again. I
Yeah.
kind of had to build this framework around my mindset also has to support this.
Yes.
And I have been on, like, I actually discovered meditation. My meditation teacher, I met him in, I want to say it was 2000, 2008 or 2009. Just
Mhm.
happened to go on like a retreat, and met him, and he taught me, it's a form of Vedic meditation.
Mhm.
And once I started learning that and applying it,
Mhm.
uh, it even when I started, because this was before I had my open heart surgery and before I had all the other surgeries, there was just this ability and this understanding that, what, I can be in a place where I can accept what's happening in the moment and
Mhm.
still be able to move forward, and
Right.
treating myself like I can manage this. It's
Yeah.
not like a promise that everything is going to work out right, but
Yeah.
there is this, I'm here right now, what can I do about it? And it's a hard mindset to maintain. It's really
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
But when you get in those moments, it's
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, wow, like I'm not having the same, I'm not having a reaction that is going to be detrimental to me
Yes.
and my health in the
Yes.
moment. I'm still going to choose to support myself in, those mindset ways, the health ways. I'm still taking care of me in this body in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a, I mean, it makes so much sense the way you frame it. And I just think a lot of
Mm,
people are kind of lost in this part of it, where it's like, for you, it sounds like working on your mindset and doing the meditation and learning acceptance and all of these things, like this is what you feel like is actually necessary for you to make other changes in your
yes.
life and allow them to take and do their work and go through the healing process, so it's not like a contingency thing of like, I'll do this work, you know so then I get better, but just like this is a part of the catalyst of my whole life like coming together.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
regardless of what the outcome is going to be, like I need to do all this stuff for me, and the
Yes.
mindset is
Yeah.
kind of what that's all resting on as opposed to the other way
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing that is really helpful is I okay. So I'm trying to put this in a way that is like kind.
Sure.
But like when you're dealing, like if you are someone that has been really active, been a part of really active communities, sometimes you find that once you deal with an illness, sometimes that community kind of falls away, or they start looking at you like, I can't have like you around, blah blah blah. And so it really then pulls that focus back of, I can't external, like I can't, for me, there were people in my active communities when I got sick vanished,
Right.
or pulled back support, or pulled back, you know presence.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I need to learn how to pull my own support back into me, and then also recognize who is really part of that support system too, because while there was certain community that left, there was also community that stayed.
Yeah.
And that was my family, that was my really close friends, that was people who understood what was going on
Right.
and that I could share with. That was also really, really helpful to me as well.
Yeah.
But I knew that I had to pull back and I want to say, take accountability for my health, and
Uh-huh.
take that accountability away from those sort of peer groups, those groups that I thought were peers. I had to take
Right.
that back and take ownership of myself. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and what a beautiful illustration of like the mindset work that you have been doing, right? Because again, like each
Yeah.
time you're talking about this hardship, I mean, I love how you said like, well, I have to work on the mindset stuff because of all the, I've been through this so many times. Or it's like some people would see that as a reason to like just give up, but you're like, oh, so now I need even more to do this and to take care of myself. Oh, I lost these friends, I lost this community. So now I need even more to like use this as an
Yes,
opportunity to like work on myself and self-support,
yes,
and
yes,
self-nourishment and,
yes,
honing in on my relationship. So again, it's just, I think
yes,
we're in full
yeah,
circle here. Like what a
yes,
beautiful
yes.
example. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I really do think um, it was just beautiful synchronicity that I was scrolling through, honestly, I was scrolling through TikTok, and
Yeah.
the algorithm was just like on point, because you started talking about thyroid nodules, and I was like, what?
Yeah. Isn't that creepy?
I
I get a
instant
lot of
like
people like
instantly
that. Yeah.
I was instantly like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
talking to Jen. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing. I went on your website, and I was like, I need a phone call from you. And I think I missed the phone call because I was away from my phone for a sec. But like, I was like, yes, I need to talk to you.
Yes. Yes. Well, it has been such a joy to work with you and to see your progress and, for you to just, really, really take everything and apply it, and yeah, I guess are there just any other last things that you want to share with people who may be out there struggling right now?
Yeah, I just keep going, keep make your body and yourself, like your whole self, your priority. It is hard, like it is physically hard, it is mentally hard, like but you are absolutely worth it. You are absolutely worth this work. You are worth like waking up in the morning and doing this work for yourself. And
Yeah.
it's not like I try to like do like the opposite side of, you're the only one that can do it. It's like, isn't it so great that you have this opportunity to heal yourself? Like
Yes.
that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for your time today. I really,
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
Chen.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.